So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to TFC Live. This is Season 3, Episode 32. We've named this one then PvP, but not as you know it. As you know, there's a lot of happening in BP this week. Most of it is change. Before we get into it, first of all, I'll say hi to Ren. How you, mate?
Hey, good, you?
Yeah, very, very much. Earth is on as well, so we've got a guest in tonight. Earth, okay, you should all know Earth, especially those that have been playing for a while. Hello, mate. How are you?
Hey, guys, you right?
Yeah, we're doing fine, mate. We'll go straight into slides. Robin may pop in later, but I know she's got a bit of a storm going on at the moment, and she just said her internet's down via her mobile phone. So we'll see if she can get back on. But if not, then we'll have to struggle through as three guys. But I'm sure we'll do our best, in her absence. Let me just share some slides. Hello, all in chat, by the way. We'll go through some names in a moment. I know Ford's in there, definitely moderating. I've seen his name. So, right, there we go. There's the title screen, which is a start, and that's our content for tonight. It looks a lot, but actually I've limited it and kept it right down to just under a dozen slides. So you've just had number 2. Right, first and foremost then, probably the most visual thing when you log in today after the update was the new in-game chat feature. So I did a little snippet, and there's a little picture on the side. It was quite a wordy bit on the forum and that sort of stuff. G for global and S for sector and A for alliance and W if you wanted to then put someone's ID in and then you could talk to that person directly. I don't know why you don't use the normal chat, but there we go. And then you can do typing R in as well, which populates the last ID or the person you chatted to and that sort of stuff. Once you're in full screen, it says if you hit the tab key, it will scroll through the different 4 options there. So all sector, alliance or global. It says global, but it's world. It's a picture of the globe, but it's your world. And then mouse scrolling apparently works on full screen as well, but I haven't tried that myself yet. Ren, you had a look at it. What did you think, mate?
I hate people. I'm not going there.
You hate people.
It's too wordy. It's too many people typing stuff. I mean,
did you look at the all chat? It's like ching ching. It's like ticker tape.
Yeah, I just went there, said hi, bye, and I don't know if I'm ever going to go there again. Now it's important distinction, right? They say global, but global is actually
the player.
It's just your world. So I'm in the 300s. I only see people in there from the 300s. It's not global. It's world.
Yeah, it's world chat, isn't it? Yeah, so it's the world you're in, not the globe. So yeah, that was.
And then for some reason the dash, /W, which could work for world, is actually the private.
Which doesn't make sense at all, does it? Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
And if you want to do it private, why don't you just connect to that person and just look
why
them
not
up on
/P then? /PM, send a private message. That would make much more sense, but whatever.
If you're going to take the time to look up them off an alley chat, or if they've hit you, you can just go in and look them up under their alliance and then just find them and then chat to them. I don't see why you have to do it.
I tend to stay on my alliance chat, which now is all green.
So yes, colors. So obviously they're not concerned with anybody that's got any color issues, color blindness and that sort of stuff, because the colors are interesting to say the least. So the green is reasonable for your alliance. It's not too bad. The yellow is a little bit whoa. Particularly when obviously sector threat changes, because that orange then yellow together, and then the world /all is obviously that bluish sort of color, which is not bad unless you're in certain parts of the base, and it's a little bit dodgy to see.
The blue can be hard to read, honestly.
On the C, I think it's quite difficult as well.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, it's okay. So they've had a first stab at it. I reckon the colors will change, and maybe they might do some different type fonts and that sort of stuff. But it actually works.
Very, very old players will remember that the chat used to be all green and yellow.
And very sort of like blocky.
Blocky, like 80s terminal font.
Yeah, it was. A lot of people were on the forums, I've noticed already, and a lot of people on the page were starting to complain about, hey, you can see all my chat all over the place. Why is it my alley chat, in the main chat, in the all chat, in the world chat, in the sector chat, and that sort of stuff? So what I did a chart. I'm hoping it'll come up. There we go. So the new in-game chat feature, who can see what? I thought I'd just do a quick chart there, basically. So the first 4 bars, okay, so you can see that it's got alliance, sector, world, and all. Okay, so I'll put the mouse over it. So in the alliance, then, if my ally member there, okay, then is in sector, then obviously he can see all these things, okay, because he's in the sector, in the same world, okay, he can see my alliance chat, obviously. He can see my sector chat because he's in the sector. He can see my global chat as well. And then when he clicks all, he'll be able to see everything. But if he's in the same world but not in the same sector, he can't see my sector chat, but he can see everything else. And if he's in a different world, obviously, he can see my alliance chat. And in his all, he'll just see my alliance chat, but nothing else from the other two. Does that sort of make sense? I hope so. A non-alliance player, obviously, even if he's in the same sector, he sees everything that the alliance player sees, but he doesn't see my alliance chat, although I see it. And that's what's confusing people.
I think you gotta be careful. It seems to me the game sometimes defaults to all. Yes. And then you're like, why is my alliance chat mixed with stuff? It's just because sometimes the game is defaulting to all.
Yeah, I think it is. And that's going back to that typing feature where if you want to go into the all, because it says it there, can respond to the relevant channels without going through the different ones. So you can just go, /G for the global or /A, and then you can carry on typing and it won't actually show to everybody else. It'll just show to your alliance. And then I thought on the flip side of chat, obviously, what chat can I see from other players? So, same again, I took out the all bit because that's obvious. So if there's a member of my alliance that is in the same sector as me, then obviously I can see our alliance chat, I can see the sector chat, and I can see the world chat. Well, that makes sense. If he's in, let's just say it's an alliance member in another world, I can't see his sector chat and I can't see his world chat, but obviously his alliance chat will still come up. And if there's a non-alliance player, obviously in the same sector, I see everything to do with the sector that he's typing, everything he types in globe, but I don't see his alliance chat. And basically, when there's another alliance player, a non-alliance player is in another world, clearly I'm not going to see anything at all. So that's basically it, moving from left to right in the two bits of that chart. So I'm hoping that sort of helps people a little bit. I'm not really sure if it does or not, but I've color-coded it as it is at the moment. And basically, yeah, stay in your alliance chat unless you really think you have to. Bounty is going to be hysterical though, because I think it's going to be like the hammer page live. I think it's going to go mental. I think it'd be funny as anything.
To be fair, in the 200s, it's been a bit like that all day.
Has it already?
Well, yeah, because people are shouting, screaming, "Come and test my base" and all this lot, and so you go and smash them, and then people are crying in there because they can only watch 10 people can only watch it, and then everybody's. Then if you fail, then everybody's having a go, and if you don't, everybody's going, "Oh yeah, well good, well done." Yeah.
You can imagine what it's like.
Yeah,
it must run so fast as well.
Oh mate, it's been non-stop. Literally, you can watch it, and it's just going like ding, 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 ding messages coming up.
And you know what? I think for people who like the social aspect of the game and they're not part of a big alliance and we're tired of logging in and seeing sector comms being completely dead, that's great.
Yeah, and I think it's a good thing for PvP as well, because a lot of people, with especially kind of if they're a lot more PvP orientated, like people to watch their base hits, and like other people like to watch those base hits. So, there is that as well.
I can just see it base hit, and then people just posting in the global comms and seeing the first 10 can get in to watch it. It'd be fun.
Yeah, pretty much.
Especially, especially when people are racing in, bounty to go and get somebody worth like 3,000 or 4,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 bounty points, and somebody else gets there first. It's just, I think it's going to be hysterical. I really do. I already think it's funny, but I'm not exactly in the most liveliest world in the moment. I'm in a lively sector, but not the most liveliest world. But yeah, I can imagine it is. It's going to get lively in some areas. I mean, it is lively now, but yeah, funny. But anyway, I just knocked that chart together just to sort of like hope it makes sort of sense. So people were really, really worried that other people could see what they were seeing, and that's not the case. It's quite different. You can just see everything that you're entitled to, but it doesn't mean they can as well. So anyway, it's a new feature. It rolled out. It works. And I thought chat would just go all haywire and go wrong, and it didn't. Literally refresh, and it was working perfectly.
Yeah, these guys apparently test stuff before they release.
It's a true rumor. Not sure if it's true, but anyway. Right, TLCs. So Scorpion Sting's back again. if you want to go in this direction, the thing I like in this one, of all the things in there, you know, whether you want to build missile mantis or don't build missile mantis, Strike System 5 is amazing to have. Really, really helpful in the PvP world as well. So it's a really good price pack too. Yeah. Of all the price packs there, even if you haven't got this done already, at least try and get the price pack too, because that is a really, really good, because it gives you the range boost and it gives you the speed boost as well. Is there anything else it gives? I can't remember. I know, Ren, you use it, don't you?
Oh, yeah. On my missile manticores, they all use Strike System 5, and I think I have some Conquerors, some missile strike cruisers using that shit.
Okay. Just going back quickly then, the Raiders just said in chat, the team are aware about the font and colors, and they're going to look into maybe to make some adjustments. Okay. Or solutions is what he said.
Just wanted to make a comment. Remember, the Manticore tokens, the one-day tokens, are limited to 10. If you already have the Manticores and the stuff, you know, don't do it just for the tokens if you're already full.
Yeah, like, got plenty of time.
I got to a point where I have my Manticores built, 2 whole fleets of them, and I maxed out on tokens, so I'm fully ignoring that TLC.
Yeah, I mean, and I only literally started on the weekend for my other alt account, and I've started building mantis. I'm on my second one now, so I'm going to do this one here, and I'm going to get at least 2 ships out. So that's good as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So,
and with the new dock, I mean, we'll talk about that soon. But with the new dock, even players only with 2 or 3 lower levels can you know get them and actually launch them.
Yeah, and if you haven't got the skin, it's there as well. Price pack 4 if you want to go there. But you know, what have we got tokens wise here? We've got a 1 day there. There is 2, 3. And then we get another 3 over there. So that's 3, 6, 12 days, isn't it, in total?
No, 6.
So, yeah, but you can go 3 times at the price pack 4.
Oh, okay, then.
So that's 9 and then 12 in total. So that's a heck of a lot of tokens again.
So, yeah, that counts as a whole bunch. That's the number.
It's a nice, yeah, that's good.
But you can keep 3, is it 5 3-day builds tokens?
Yeah, 5
3 days and 10 1 days.
Yeah, it's quite a bit.
So, I mean, obviously, if you've just done the TLC, the Double Trouble TLC, make sure you spend them before you do this one.
Exactly. Or don't do this one. That's my point.
Yeah.
Like, I have no reason to spend my tokens right now, so I'm not doing this one.
Yeah, I've saved up my tokens. I've maxed out. In fact, I can fit in 1 more free day, but do I want to go through that pain just to get a free day? So this campaign, anyway, it says Manticores, that sort of stuff. Actually, you can if you've rejigged your Skyfires or your Phoenixes, you can actually go through it with those. I've done it. I've done this TLC with Phoenixes before.
I actually prefer doing with Phoenixes than with the Scattergun Manticores.
Yeah, I had loads. I mean, and you've done the same. I know you have, Ren, where we've put the Stinger missile onto it.
Yeah, because I had my Phoenixes at R5, so I was able to put a bunch of the new stuff on them and make them really fun.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, let's move on.
Yep. Okay. Next slide. So yeah, this one here. So this will catch some people out if you aren't careful. So this is that new TLC. Well, not new TLC. It's been run before. Okay. So it's the Path to Chameleon TLC. This one's a co-op TLC. Okay. So I'll bear that in mind first. All right. And it's only 3 levels, and you think, oh, this is nice and easy. But don't get caught out, because you've got to use 3 different types of ship. So the first one is assault, second being skirmish, and the third being the siege fleet. And it does say, I highly recommend it to be right up to the top rank and that sort of stuff, because although the first one, assault, probably last season's assault, so no problem there. Skirmish, don't go taking in prototypes because it makes a real mess of them. I already know that Agni went in with his and got his sunk, so it looks like you're back to your subs again.
No hunters?
I'm not sure. He said prototypes, he went in there and he said they got smashed. So hunters probably would be fine, but it's like one of the earlier rounds that they had last, a few months back, that if you put the wrong things into the wrong one, it didn't work. You took the hunters in; it should have been subs instead.
Absolutely mullered by it,
and they got mullered. And I think that's the same situation. I think this is skirmisher subs, although it doesn't say it. It doesn't warn you off.
I think it's recommended Fangtooth for that one, definitely.
I think you're right. And there's no pre-warning anywhere at all, apart from the fact that someone can go in and hide in the corner, and then somebody else can go and do it. But I do remember something in the back of my mind saying it's Fangtooths only for this one. but I'm not sure. But like I said, Prototides, Agni went in to help somebody out, and he just got smashed. Literally, he didn't get 5 seconds of target, and the whole lot was slunk. So yeah. And siege-wise, I take it it's probably, I haven't done this myself for a long time, but there are videos out there. I looked on YouTube, and all 3 rounds are in there as well.
Was it a Path to Chameleon or Path to the Continent? I remember it was like that. It's the same thing.
I typed in Path to Chameleon, and it came up. So
okay.
I think you've got a video, and I know Derpy's definitely got a video because I had a look at both of those. So
yeah, but I'll say that don't get the Chameleon. Don't do it.
Yeah, I know, because you've got it, haven't you?
I have them, and they're really, useless. If you already have a Manticore fleet or even a Skyfire Phoenix fleet, and you have a good siege fleet, they will do the TLCs far better than the Chameleon, even though at the end none of them have any repair time because you finish the battle, they dock in repair. But these guys take a long time to build, and they take a long time to repair, and the utilization you're going to get out of them is bare minimum. It's only on the expeditions or the generalist cards whenever they pop up. Yeah, and last time I checked the payout, I mean, the generalist card is supposed to pay out all these bonuses and resources
to get you to do
and
it.
It doesn't. It's being bugged since they released that, and I haven't seen a fix yet.
No, agreed. And yeah, I totally agree. It's a waste of shipyard time, really, to be honest. Even if you haven't got anything built, just stick with building normal hulls rather than this.
I'd rather build more Skyfires personally than this.
I would, yeah. I would.
Build Conquerors, build Defenders. Don't tie up your shipyard on 17, 18-day Chameleon builds. Even though you get some nice tokens in there.
Build a blank sloth or something, rather than. I mean, it's great 10 days worth of tokens, that sort of stuff. You've got to go through 3 times.
Build 100 gunboats for all I care, but don't build them.
Yeah, I would pass this one by. I must admit, I think it's a stocking filler, as I think most generalist ships are, to be honest.
They never sorted out how generalists should work, and the problem, like to me, a generalist is a stopgap. That's what it should be. So if I build them once, now I can kind of like get around every new raid cycle. So the way it should be is like, okay, I have my generalists. A month before, when they release the new hull at a premium, like they're going to do September, release the bat ray, they should right there release the generalist weapon and special.
But when they went and changed some of the stats and made them negative 100% on some of the things, that was me.
They only released the special. So, sorry, Mark. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that stops it being general, doesn't it? The word generalist is generally reasonably good for most things, and as soon as you start putting the negative 100% in some of the defense stats, it's no longer general.
Yeah, and and then there's a flagship each cycle, and without the flagship, they kind of suck. So stay away from those Chameleons. They are a huge mistake in the game.
Not recommended. Anyway, so on to FM new prizes. You'll note, obviously, when the FM kicks in, then obviously for this week only, there's not one of those this week only things. So stand by to be really, really busy if you haven't got this stuff, because there's a heck of a lot of kit. I mean, it's none of the costs, but obviously they're in price pack 5, so you're probably guessing they're going to be at least $1 million. Wouldn't surprise me anyway. But blunderbuss blueprints in there if you want it, up to 4. And 4 7-day to build tokens as well. The Vulture blueprint is in there as well. Another 4 of those if you want them. And the 7-day build tokens are called. And nice one as well is the High Guard Warden blueprint. I hate to think I'm going to charge you for it, but you haven't got it. And obviously that's a good one to get. It's there as well. Price is TBC. I don't really know. The long term.
But I really like they're putting out these base defense related technologies in FM. That's the right thing to do. I think we discussed a lot last time where they were giving the Conqueror flagship in FM, and like that doesn't make any sense. Now this makes sense.
I don't think you should have to wait for every month for the event to start doing base defense. Yeah, that should be a constant tick away. I mean, normal FM things, and if you need it, drop in as an extra thing, and then I'll get a blunderbuss. Thank you very much, because I've got time this month.
And do you not think that if they've just done this in the first place, then all of this PvP tech would have been knitted together a lot quicker?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, without a doubt.
People would have been a lot happier with being, people would have been on a par together.
Do you know what I'd have preferred? I'd have preferred they put all the defense stuff in the like they have now in the FM. At the start of the month would be the key item, like MC Plate 3 at the bottom there. you know, and then some filler stuff, you know, and then all the attack stuff, you could put it on a TLC and you could get rid of bounty altogether.
Yeah.
But hey ho.
Because I don't think the bounty's not really working at the minute. But that's a different.
And you know, if they want to release the brand new technology in bounty first, okay. But then, you know, a month or, or 2 months later, the defense stuff should be in FM. I'm okay with the Conquerors being trickled down like in bounty for a second time, and then, you know, but the defensive stuff, which is what most players care about, being in FM like that, even if it's like a special flash prize just this week, it's great.
Bounty, yeah. I mean, we're going to go on to that because we're going to the refactor in a moment. But I was hoping bounty was just going to be quarterly. You know, I really was. I thought, seeing as the raids changed and that sort of stuff, I thought the 4th raid would have been a bounty raid and just make that at the 4th raid of the year. You know, and then actually, then what people didn't get in the bounty, they could have missed out and then topped it up in the FM. That's what I was hoping, or in TLCs or something. You know, a month later, yeah. But it didn't work out like that. They basically just doubled the events, which is frustrating as hell.
The original concept was pretty cool. It was like, hey, bounty is a PvP way for PvP players to get PvP tech. Problem is, bounty became PvE.
Yeah, and it has been for 12 events basically.
Yeah, it's you know, it's constantly required that you had to partake in it in order to get the latest defense stuff, which is not right, really.
Yeah, I agree. I think the attack stuff being there, no problems at all. The defensive stuff should not be exclusive to bounty players.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, there's lots of pros and cons. People are on the, you know, anyway, it is what it is. But, you know, raids have been going since day dot, you know, and we're used to those. You know, bounty was an addition. We said, let's not make it 2 a month. And where we've gone, we're within a year, we've already got 2 events every single month. And they're as long as each other virtually. And you need almost the same amount of points now for both of them. And they're both a grind. That's it in a nutshell.
So one thing that I do want to say on this is obviously, if you can do the FM for free, pick up the 7-day tokens if you've got the time and you can do it for free. If not, just get base parts to do it. And it, you know, if you're making a choice between how much time you've got in your FM in order to get the missing turrets that you've got, you know, the ones that you've got missing, and then possibly having a chance to get the High God Warden over getting all of the 7-day tokens, do that. Just forget about the tokens, do them last. Because, you know, base parts are easier to get than, you know, they're easy enough to get on the map. So,
yeah, very much so. Oh dear. So yeah,
just out of curiosity, I'm sharing my screen. I'm doing the path to the Chameleon package.
Oh right, okay. Oh, Submaster driver. Should call Liam doing this. You didn't dare take some hunters in or anything.
No, this target I remember is not. It depends on how they set the damage you can do with hunters. If not, subs are a lot better.
Definitely recommended, yeah, without a doubt. I always find as soon as you find some of their ships in that are above the sea, then that's the ones where you start going in with subs and not going with your own skirmisher hulls. Keep it to subs.
but yeah, it's definitely the Fangtooth target. You will get
money. Yeah, this guy I think was the 83 in the raid or something like that.
It's the one slip up on your mullet target.
Yeah, but the damage is really low. You see, I mean, they fired at me a few times. My health bar is still full. So who knows? Maybe hunters work. I don't know.
I wouldn't like to test that theory.
I know. I've just seen people in chat scrolling back up. I was scrolling up in chat there, and someone said, "Yeah, I've lost half of my P tides," and somebody said, "I've lost something else." So,
yeah, you know, if someone's lost a fleet of P tides in there, I'm not trying hunters in there.
Definitely not.
Good point. But I mean, Fangs so far so good.
In the TLC,
that's because Leon taught me how to drive my subs, right? So that's how I got this good with subs.
So, did we want to talk about the MC3 plate?
Yeah, let's get. Oh yeah, does anyone know how many of those you can equip per ship? Is it just one
It's
per
just
ship?
the one, I think, mate. I think it's limited to one.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those and two of the others.
No, 1, 2, and 3 then.
So it's in reverse order, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
So you only need 3 of the MC armors then, really.
Yeah, because I mean,
realistically.
this one now is the 1.8, isn't it? And the other one was just under 1, wasn't it? So
Yeah, I think it gives you, I think, a 1, a 2, or is it 2 2s and a 3 gives you like the 2.
So you're saying now if you put a 3 and 2 2s, we're good.
You're good, yeah. I think is pretty much the thing on it.
yeah, it's a crazy. I mean, 1.8 million is, or just over 1.8 million, is an awful lot for one plate, isn't it? I mean, the weight's slightly higher. You know, instead of 900, it's 1200. But I mean, you know, you can basically double it. So
Yeah, so and it gives you more armor combinations that you can use now, which is good. Which means different fleets you can use that you wouldn't been able to use.
yeah, it's time to have a little rethink again, isn't it? Like I said, I've already utilised Ren's chart that he made up, which is excellent, and you can soon get to above those minimum stats where you can basically only take pass through. So this is a big boost, particularly those ships that are very, very weak on penetrative as well, because you've got 843k, which is a huge jump
for ships like the Ifrit and the Impact Cruiser.
Ifrit particularly, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the Impact Cruiser as well doesn't have any pen defense, does it?
So this will put it up quite high quite quickly. So it's going to help. Good news. You nearly finished there. Just go back and have a little look. Last ship. And he's done. Boom. Just like that.
What, you're talking about the TLC here?
Yeah. I'm just looking at your TLC. So is that you with... did you get 300,000 uranium as well at the same time?
I don't think so. Let's see what I get. I don't know. 3-day Chameleon View token and VXP token. Meh. Repair time, 12 minutes.
Right. So what we got next then is this.
Nowhere in the game it said for Pack 2 I needed a skirmish fleet. Nowhere.
Doesn't tell you.
So, and there's no retreat. So to make sure I sent a gunbolt first.
Yeah.
Saw the target. But that's horrible. People having to rely on the announcement or their memory to know what to do.
Yeah, it's not good. The fact that you go in there and you're stuck. I mean, the only thing I can say is as long as you don't advance, you shouldn't have an issue. You shouldn't have an issue. I don't think any of them actually trigger straight away if you move. You have to just freeze and then wait.
But you can't retreat.
No, you have to let it time out, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and it's like 20 minute timeout.
Yeah, it's annoying, isn't it?
Very.
Yeah.
Okay,
let's say anyway. It says, Dave just said in the thing. It says skirmish on the load up screen, but does anybody actually read those load up screens? That's like getting a bloke to read instructions. They just take things out of the packet and just have a go at it. Anyway, so let's have a look at this PvP refactor. There was a massive statement made about the need to adjust PvP, and it wasn't working, and the events tied to it weren't working, and the method of releasing ships weren't working, and the in-game levels weren't working, and the docks weren't working, and basically nothing was working. So apparently everything that has been fantastic for the last 3 to 4 years is now not working. So So the key issues, it was a long-ass statement. I did pin it to the top of the page, so give plenty of time for people to read it. So that was pinned up as soon as the release notes came out, which were Monday, which was nice. Key issues.
Yeah, we're going to release an audio file later, like a podcast with each TFC member reading the whole post, so you can listen to your favorite person reading the whole thing.
I'll do the bit at the end. It's good night.
No, we're going to have the full audio with each person. People can pick which one they want.
Oh, golly, poor buggers. Yeah, so what were the key issues? As it says there, look, basically it requires you so that you can adjust to your enemy, and currently you can't do that. Why? Because you don't have enough tech, because all the tech's not out still.
It's missing all the pieces. I mean, they were very clear. They spelled out the whole strategy. They said they should have one set of turrets per damage type. They wanted to have 3 flagships, 1 for each 2 ships, and they wanted to have 6 ships, 1 of them dealing each damage type and good against 1 damage type.
And 3 set
Plus,
defenders, holes, wasn't it?
and each weapon being good at adding deflection against 1 damage type. So
Yeah.
you had all the pieces. The problem is it's been 6+ months and we don't have all the pieces, and so the whole thing sucks.
Yeah, exactly that. And the ships are really, really heavy. The armor is, I mean, there you go, there's a 1200 just come out now. So the armor is really, really heavy. You know, monster bases are now coming along. 2 years down the line, we're up. There are so many level 129s, on the water, which actually inside their base, they're much, much bigger than that, even more. So, where we were a couple of years ago, where there were a couple of 100 levels, level 100 bases, now there's stacks of them, Not that that's an education of anything, but still you can hit a 50, which is nuts when you think about it.
Yeah, and on the whole, like not having all the pieces so we can adjust your enemies and whatnot. I mean, I don't know what you guys think about it, but I keep repeating that same idea over and over. It never took hold, although I heard some players like it, but maybe some players don't. So if you have a PvP strategy that relies on 6 different attackers and 3 different defenders, what I think they should do is just like they're doing Raid, where let's say they run 3 TLCs at the same time, or even all 6. Here are 6 TLCs for the 6 Conquerors. You can only do 1 this month. 2 weeks down the road or next month, run all the 6 TLCs again. This time you can do 5. Pick 1. This way, in the whole game, would have a diversity of ships and a diversity of defenders, and everybody would be building up over a few months, right? But people build up differently. So if you're part of an alliance, you can say, you know what, like some people will get the missile ship, some people get explosive ship,
prepper,
active ship. As an alliance, we have everything.
Yeah, and that's the team.
Just an idea. That's just an idea that I've been repeating a few times. Back when they released those faction-based Conquerors, I wanted it to be like that. Remember the Inquisitor and the Liberator and all those guys?
Yeah, they weren't too bad. It's when we started doing the 7 deadly sins and all that sort of stuff, it started getting a bit complex. And it's the dragging out, that's the bit that's annoyed me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how do you do it? If you're going to base it around, if you give people 7 ships to have in 1 month and 7 different types of turrets and 7 different, all these different damage types and that sort of stuff, and you go, right, you've got to go out and get it the whole lot now. That's where you say, well, I've got to go and get a pack then. You can't just say, I've got to go and get each one. Then I've got to go and do a TLC or an event, and I've got the pack. And then from that, then I have to build what I fancy, But the problem is it's been
something like that. The whole problem is like even when they did the first like tier 5 Conquerors, started with the Revenge and the Vendetta and all these guys, remember? In the end, like people overused the Revenge and the Vendetta because they came first, and so they were used for many months. But the last guys to come out, the Spite and the Malice, they barely got any use because by the time the Malice was released, next month there was the next tier. So the Malice had a 1 month lifespan, and it was a pretty cool hole.
Yeah, and I used it as a prep hole. That was it, as a sort of spotter. It made a very good spotter, I must admit.
But it was short-lived because it came late in the cycle. So I think if they're going to do that again, they got to put all the pieces out there. Boom, here are all the pieces. And maybe gate access to the pieces, but here are all the pieces.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, we're in the 8th month. We've only got 4 to go, and it's taken them to the 8th month to say, you need all the tech now. So
what do you think, Earth?
Yeah, I agree. It's been too long in coming. The whole catch-up mechanic's been broken. Stuff like the turret should have been put in the FM in the 3rd month, just to make sure that people have got it. Even me, I'm quite heavy into my PvP, and I've literally just managed to get the last pieces that I was missing out of the missile tech. So,
wow,
what I mean? I just think that it's a broken mechanic because you're now asking not just once every month for you to have all of that time literally focusing on the game and either grinding out targets or going and hitting bases to get your bounty points. You've got the raid as well, so not everybody can have that much time to be able to do that, you know. And it's a lot of people are suffering purely because of that. And yeah, all right, there is a catch-up mechanic in the fact that, you know, it does get released in the raid, but then by the time it's released, it's kind of already outdated, and it's not really kind of generating that PvP aspect of the game that they want to do. So it does need to come through quicker. I think definitely the same as what Ren said, all of the defense tech should all be in the FM. You know, everybody has the ability to do the FM to a certain point. Yeah, it's a cornerstone in the game. It's where a lot of our tech comes through to keep us up to date and keep us relevant with the way that the game is moving forward. So, you know, why not add in the base defense technology into that to keep your base relevant at the same time?
That bench, yeah. I mean, there was a chap. I mean, I'm not being wrong, but 8 million points was the price of the Greta, wasn't it? And there was a lad. I'm not sure which page it was on, but we both picked it up, and Robin particularly last week. And he managed to do it with Punishers and some really random ships. And he basically was hitting all the low-level stuff, and he managed to grind out for the whole week and got that ship. You know, which is pretty impressive. You know, for someone that was even hitting, you know, the 111s. It was really low-level stuff, and he was grinding and grinding and grinding.
Yeah,
no, I didn't get the curator, for instance, on bounty, so I'm gonna wait. Either it's gonna be cheaper next bounty, or they put in FM, hopefully, and I'll get it there.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I like the TLCs where it's done. I think you should win bounty and then just get a package, and it should be the, you know, six bounties could be done for the year. You could get the one set and you know, the 6 different damage types. Right, you've just won the next package. You know, or it could be done over 3 months. Do the lot over 3 months, you know, so 3 different events. January, February, year to play with it.
I like what Earth said. I mean, release all defense technology in FM, you know, or okay, releasing bounty. Release the turrets first, you know, in bounty if you want. But after a month at most, a month, no more than that, release all the defense stuff in FM too. So people who get in bounty get a month of advantage, which is fair, right?
And all of this thing of buying individual prizes in bounty, just put in a tag. That's how much we want you, and you can have the whole pack, or, you know, put in various different pack sizes in there, so you can have, like, I don't know, 2 turrets, 1 of the ships at one price, and then you can have 3 of the ships and like 4 of the turrets at one price or whatever.
Yeah. What if they bundle the ships in bounty? Let's say the first time, because now they release like a bundle of 3 of the same ship. What if they did a bundle of 4, 2 ships of each, for instance, and you had multiple bundles, so you can get the different bundles.
The drag is what's bugged. I'm still on about that. It's 8 months in. You know, they said, I mean, there's a designers come up with a 3-month plan. Well, that's going to take us 8, 9, 10, 11. That's a year in. By the time they instigate it, we're a year.
No, yeah. By the time the corrosive conqueror or the concussive conqueror, whichever one comes last, because these are the 2 missing. By the time they come out, unless they really speed up, because they just said
no one's going to build it. We'll be on the next lot.
Yeah, but 1 new conqueror will be in raid now.
Yeah, that's the next raid prize, isn't it?
Yes, and then I think the other one in bounty. So is that what they said?
Yeah, that's what they said. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna see all the 2 missing conquerors within the next 30 days.
Yeah.
So I mean, just to say, I like what these new guys are doing now, realizing it's screwed up. Let's fix it, and this is what we're gonna do. The second point, a lot of people are going on about on the YouTube chat. It's all the whole turret bonus complication and all the, you know, which is, I think, the second bullet there, being over convoluted, right? I wonder how they're going to streamline that, because to streamline things, they'll have to change stats, and they said as much. They will change stats, and I can see people yelling nerf like from 10 miles away, right?
Sorry, I missed that completely.
No, I just said, I mean, they said they will change stats in ships to make things less convoluted. Changing stats usually means some things will be nerfed, some things will be buffed, and people will scream and yell because their builds may break. Make sense?
Yeah, it's kind of odd, really. And I don't know what they're doing with it, really. I mean, some of the stats on the hulls aren't right. We all know that. But you know, if you're going to change the way that things work and or have been working now, you're too far into it to do that. It's going to be absolute uproar. You just got to leave it as it is now and just kind of.
Yeah, they won't leave as is. They already declared they will change some stats. They say, oh, if your ships are doing well against this today, they'll keep doing against blah blah blah. But we will change things. I have no idea what that means, but I just know they are now entering a massive minefield, trying to change
definitely,
stuff that was already released and already built by players. That's so freaking. If they pulled it off without pissing off 2/3 of the community, they're geniuses. Because every time they do that, they screw it up.
Agreed. Seems we have lost TSM very quickly.
If he's the host, that means we're going to lose the whole session in 10-15 minutes.
Right. So let's have a look. I can't really do anything. I can't even.
It's okay. We'll just keep talking. So the next point we had is just that the new ships are heavy, and they kind of address that with the dock up to a point, but not the max level. When they say new ships are heavy, do you think they're going to reduce the weight or give us a new dock that gives us more bonus? How they're going to address the ships being heavy?
So if you actually have a look at the slides that we've got, what they've done is they've increased the maximum fleet weight in all of the old level docks apart from the level 14 dock. So
all the intermediate levels, right?
Yeah, so now from going back downwards, so level 13, the old weight was 45,729 and it's been bumped up to 85,000. So really it's just making the intermediate bases be able to accept having tier 7 ships, because obviously the weapons are a lot heavier and stuff like that. It's just helping people out so that they can, before they manage to get to a level 14 dock, they can still kind of start putting in some of those tier 7 ships and getting a decent sized fleet together.
That's a good thing, because it's like zero effort for players. It's just kind of like a gift. Here's more dock space, not dock space for ships. I mean, more dock weight.
More dock weight, yeah. So I mean, so the new level 13 is 85,000. Level 12 is 75,000. 11 65, 55, 47 50. Then it goes down to 40 and 32. So
I think TSM has that on the slides. I don't know but he's not sharing the slides, is he?
No, I've got a copy of the slides here, but that's the actual numbers of. I'm just.
Yeah, I see his back on the chat here. At least I see him, and I see the slide.
There he is.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. My internet died.
Put the dock slide up so everyone can see.
It should be up. Can you see it?
Oh, okay.
There it is.
Did you lock on the screen?
Yeah, it should be locked on.
Okay.
So so interesting that dock level 9, which is now the same as what dock level 13. Well, it's slightly better, in fact.
Yeah.
Dock level 13. So that's a huge increase for some people. Like
So that means all those people sometimes buying the offers for like Skyfires or Apollos or whatever will actually be able to use the fleets, because before they would just be always too heavy. You buy a pack of 5 ships, you can only use 3 if that many.
Yeah, until you increase your dock. So yeah, agreed. It's going to help out a lot of people. With buying like the Skyfires, because that's like one of the things that quite a lot of people in my alliance that have come back done to they bought the time limited offer and then realized, actually we can only use 3 of them in a fleet. So this is definitely going to help those people out, and it just makes everything so much easier for people in the intermediate game and players coming back to the game as well, just to be able to compete at a certain level and then be able to actually go out and get stuff that they need.
Yeah. TSM, can you go back to the PvP refactor thingy slide?
How's that? Is that okay?
Yeah, okay, it's there. The other thing that they changed, and I mean, by now probably everyone knows that the minimum level to hit free-for-all now is level 80, not 50 anymore, right?
Yeah.
But what caught my attention is not that, I mean, this change is good as a band-aid, but they said it's a band-aid, and they said the new system that's going to fix it for good is coming in October, which is only 2 months down the road.
Yeah, which is it's a good thing. I think it might be something similar to what along the lines of what they do in Vega, where you match certain fleet with certain base tech, and you're only allowed to hit bases within that kind of area. So
It has to be something along those lines, doesn't it?
yeah, you're matching the kind of the tech in base to the fleets that are allowed to hit it, and that kind of that way round. That's the way that I would hope that they would do it anyway, so that it's kind of a more matched battle.
Yeah. Did you mention about the sorry, on the refractory thing there, about the getting rid of the stats and bringing them down into simple speak, over convoluted stats and trying to bring.
Yeah, we discussed that one. We discussed the heavy ships. That's why we're talking about dock as well.
Okay,
but we're just talking about the low levels. Now, I don't know if I don't know who said it first, and I don't want to give credit to the wrong people, but at the same time, I don't want to make it look like it was my idea, because it was not. But someone came up with the idea that I really liked of correlating fleet level with base power level as a more permanent system. Because if you look at it, I think a top Conqueror fleet right now, it's kind of level 485, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah.
And the base, the maximum power a base can have is 844,000. So there is a relationship between max fleet level and max base power of 2,000 to 1.
It makes base production really, really interesting, because you then try to make your base as light as possible, but you'd also try and make your ships as light as possible.
But then it becomes a strategy point.
Very
right? Of course,
yeah.
I can get one Conqueror and try to break an easier base, but is that one Conqueror going to make it, or is it going to have the firepower? Maybe, right?
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Yeah.
But
I mean, and we've been saying that for some time, that we've said that it's been a broken mechanic, and I don't know who initially stated it, but I know we've also been saying it. Unless we started, I don't know who started it, but the point is, we've all in our own ways been saying that.
I think it's kind of a bit of an amalgamation of all of us have kind of said.
Yeah,
it.
I think so. I think you're probably right. I know Hefe said it as well, and that sort of stuff. So you know, a lot of people, and the BV guys used to say it as well. So even when you know Price was running that it doesn't mean anything base level, and it hasn't done for several years. You know, and the way these ships have gone up, and the amount of res you've had, everyone's charging through the base levels now really, really quickly, because some of these ships just need ridiculous amounts of res.
Yeah. But I think if you go something like, let's say I have one tier 7 Conqueror fully loaded, like a missile strike cruiser. My fleet level is 217.
Mm-hmm.
Times 2,000, that means I can't hit a base with power below 434,000. I mean, I'm not a game designer. I'm just taking that idea and say, I see a ratio there that kind of makes sense.
But there has to be something in that as well. There has to be not just the base power, but there has to be some other mechanic as well, I think, you know, and it must be like the OP is this level. You know, there must be a couple of other, you know, almost like saying you can go in this TLC,
it's not that easy,
but you must be level 50.
Yeah,
you know,
what if I mix like tier 7 or tier 6 and tier 7 Conquerors? What if there's so many combinations you can make, and I don't want them over constraining us. Oh, you can't do this, but you can't do that.
You could put one spotter in and 4 sloths. You could put 2 spotters in 3 sloths. And
I think the beauty of PvP is the freedom to do however you want. You know,
you can go back and build FFs and then go and hit level 34s.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, then why not? I mean, you have the skill, but you're using a fleet that's compatible with that base power level.
Yeah, exactly. You know, because it's always fun to use. Like, I mean, I've got some old school dreadnoughts, so you know, I still got them, and I just every now and then when I was bored, I'd go down and I'd go and hit like a level 60 with a set of old school dreadnoughts, just for the hell of it, because it's fun, and it's like it's going back to the old school times of you're gonna have to actually think about how you're gonna hit the base.
MCXs, mate, MCXs.
Yeah, you know, just old fleets that are sat in storage that, you know, they're of no use to you, but you've got them in there for like old time's sake kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know,
and I have no idea how they do it, but I mean, the one place where they kind of piloted something, but I don't know if it's going anywhere. It's in expeditions. I mean, in expeditions they have this different math that tells, hey, your fleet is level 1800.
Based off what you get back out of it, yeah. It's quite clever.
No, it's before you engage. You can see your different fleets. They gain a number that is not the traditional fleet level, and it just says, hey, your fleet ranks 1725, and the minimum recommended for this expedition is 1400.
But doesn't the fleet level tie to the amount of you get back out of it as well?
Nope.
Doesn't it? I've never done expeditions, so I don't know.
Nope. It's just like to tell you if your fleet's good enough, expected to be good enough to do it for not too much damage.
So it gives you a raw indication, basically.
Yeah. Just go on any expedition, open the card, and see the fleets you have of that class, and you see they all get a number. Like my Ironclads will get a lower number than my Buccaneers. They get a lower number than the Proto-Centurions, for instance.
All right.
But it's a different calculation. I don't know what they were trying to do in there. You know, if that's going to be reused in any way, shape, or form. But
I completely forget about expeditions, I must admit. I've never... Well, I'm not saying never touched ones. I did chuck some Ironclads in one once we moved to the Buckies. I chucked the Ironclads in. Then it took so long, I was like, no, I can just do it quicker on the sea. So.
Now, Matt Babcock in chat is asking a good thing. I mean, he's saying, okay, is bounty participation going to be capped at level 80? Like, will players below level 80 be able to do bounty?
Or they're going to have almost a separate event to themselves, aren't they? If we aren't careful.
So before the change, if a player was level 36, could they join bounty, being below level 50?
Not to my knowledge, but 50 to 80s definitely could, obviously.
Yeah, you know,
because the base scans were at 15 above, weren't they, or 16 above? I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I've never seen a replica that was below level 60 something, 50 something. You're right. So good question. I mean, will level 80, level 70, level 60, they should be able to join bounty and just kind of have their own event going, pretty much.
Yeah, and of course, something else that's been brought up is the fact that, you know, with the replica basis, they'll have to be capped at 80, will they? Will they have to be capped at 80?
No, they won't be capped at 80, but that means you probably will not be able to hit a replica below level 80. So the low-level guys participating in bounty will have them kind of like exclusive access to them.
That'd be interesting.
So a bunch of things we don't know. I mean, you know, like A, will guys below 80 be able to join? B, are there going to be replicas below level 80? C, are we going to be able to hit them, or are they going to be protected as a regular player base? We don't know, we don't know, we don't know. That's the answer. Good questions to ask Kickside, though.
Interesting times. Yeah, they'll have to make a decision, because you can't just let it go, oh, we'll see what happens, because that ain't acceptable.
No.
Because that's going to knock a lot of people out of doing certain level targets.
Yeah. The final point in the refactor, just before we... Two things on the PvP refactor, just to finish that up. There will be, I think, a more detailed post by Wrong Thinker. Do you know when that's going live? I think there's going to be a live video on Friday and a post on Monday.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Yeah, the live video Friday, where they're going to go into more detail, and then next Monday as well, is what I picked up from the last Friday's video and the notes that they put up on the forum. Okay, cool. So stay tuned on Friday to the Kicksai stream. It's not Rampage Reports anymore. The Kicksai, yeah. I don't know. It doesn't really have a name at the moment, does it? So, you know. Yeah. Wrong Thinker Thinks, wasn't it? Or something like that? Or something along those lines.
Something along those lines.
Yeah. Chris Chu, The Empire Strikes Back. Something like that. Yeah. But anyway, it is what it is. Yeah, so so basically, and the value that's I don't want to extend because I know we're short on time, but he recognized there's no value in doing PvP outside of bounty. Like, people only hit on their bases for bragging rights and for fun, but I mean, there's nothing you get out of it that furthers your game experience.
Well, yeah.
Other than bragging rights and satisfaction. So the question is, do we want to get anything else out of it? Do we want them to make PvP worth something all the time? Dangerous game, because you can passing it around just like medals. That's the only thing I don't like, you know, because people are on about, you know, what do we do with all these spare blueprints? There's been a few questions about that at the moment. You guys in the spare, you know, like I've got
6 Tideseeker prints, you know, 1-day build tokens. Well, why can't I cash them in for this? Or why can't I do that? You know, why can't I gift them to somebody else? You can imagine then people be gifting stuff to all sorts of stuff to all sorts of people, and all of a sudden you can gift all your X build tokens, you know, and then all of a sudden you'd have one player in the alliance who's got something for free. And I don't know, anyway, but whatever it is, it's the same with these situation here. You got to be very careful.
What I brought up is that, and the very old players in the game will remember that. When the game started, there was no base heating, and then they gave turrets to our bases, and then, you know, Will Harbin came up with great fanfare and announced that, oh, now you can hit other player bases. And the whole thing was, before we could only hit salvages and mines.
It was FVF only,
resources to upgrade our stuff. And then base heating was introduced, and I remember more or less the words when it was announced by Will Harbin was like, oh, it's going to be a very challenging experience, not for, or only for the strong of heart or whatever, but very rewarding, because pretty much while you could only get your fleet up to 100% full in a salvage, you could get 500% resources from a base, and that will save you literally hours of killing salvages on the map.
Well, do you remember hitting one warehouse was worth like 8 hours of work? You know, just by OP didn't mean anything. You didn't care about hitting the OPs, but hitting a warehouse.
Yeah, so there was a huge incentive to hit bases where, like, okay, do I want to kill salvages and load the ships and back and forth for 3 hours, or do I want to try my luck against a base? So to summarize, the original reason for PvP was because the more PvP you did, the less PvE you did.
Yeah.
And the better you got at PvP, the less you had to worry about PvE.
The more ergonomic you were, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So like maybe having some sort of bonus of resources that you can only get by doing PvE stuff.
Well, you know, I'm thinking if there was an incentive, like, oh, if I hit a base, I get some uranium and some titanium, even if we don't steal from the other player, because I know these resources are hard to get. Like a bonus, okay? I hit a base, I steal the regular resources, and depending on how hard the base is, I get a certain amount of uranium, a certain amount of titanium, meaning now I don't have to do that PvE for that. So it goes back to the original idea of base hitting, which is more base hitting results in less PvE.
I would not be doing any PvE.
And then you got to lock it. You got to lock it to, you know, you can't use the same base so many times. Otherwise, you'd be back to Bounty 11, and people would have their ults on the build, and they'd be like, "Oh, I'll stick the OP on the outside because I can flatten the base." And then so it's got to be monitored properly and done correctly, because there's too many people who just want to have an easy life these days, you know, because gaming in this game costs money, so people want to do it for nothing. You know.
And there's a time, I mean, I work and I have a family, and there's only that amount of time I can play Battle Pirates a day. Right? And the problem, like what killed my PvP over time, was that there was so much PvE and TLCs and FM and all that kind of crap to do, that once I got done with it, I didn't have any time to play Battle Pirates anymore. And because PvE gave me blueprints and tech and tokens, and PvP gave me nothing, I pretty much stopped doing PvP. And then it got too convoluted, and then it got too expensive, and then it got too boring. As a result, I only do PvP a couple times a week. I only hit a couple bases a week, 5 bases a week, if that much, outside of Bounty.
But it's like, even if you were to hit bases and you hit a base and you manage to get 50% on the AP, and you just got a, I don't know, KD shard or something like that.
I think you only get something if you 100% the base, personally.
Well, yeah, or 100% it, whichever.
Oh, even if you gave something like, 1 hour repair token every time you win against the base.
But it can only be the same base like 3 times a week or something like that. It can't be over and over again.
Just keep getting them, you know.
It'd just be open to abuse, mate, because everyone would just go like, right, I'll untag this week, and then you'll untag next week.
True, people would abuse the system, get off and whatnot. You're right.
Bounty 11 was a flop because of that exact reason. You know, it just made a farce out of it.
Yeah, no, you're right. It would be exploited. Never mind.
Unfortunately, you know, I don't know how it'd have to be done, but, you know, maybe you could only get it from other alliances, and you have to 100% that base, so then it does cost them.
But I don't know. I mean, something. I mean, if it goes back to the original spirit, I would be happy. Where more PvP equals less PvE. You know what I mean?
To be honest, it's not our problem how they get it back. They need to get it back. That's the simplest answer. How they get it back is their problem.
No, my concern is always that they sometimes come up with pyroclastic ideas about how to fix things that everybody hates. So I'd rather try and get ahead and make suggestions.
Yeah, I agree, because and the whole reason that PvP did take off in the first place was because of the resources, and you were able to do that and not have to go and hit salvages all day every day.
It was nice, wasn't it, when you could just go and do a couple of PvP, and it just takes so long to get there anyway. In the middle of that, you go next door to the sector with loads of people in ships and go and do FVF as well.
Yeah,
which was hysterical fun.
Yeah, and Santa and some other folks in chat, in the YouTube chat, were talking about FVF. Problem with FVF today is like nobody can take FVF because pretty much FVF became sniping chore fleets, and chore fleets take 10+ hours to repair.
Yeah.
How do they fix that?
Well, there never used to be chore fleets exactly. It just used to be a ship, and it was just a ship, and a ship could go and do stuff, and that was it.
Well, this is the thing. This is another thing this is why PvP is taking a downturn, is because, we used to be able to do everything with the same holes that we used to do PvP with.
Yep.
And now we can't.
I mean, FS, if you have morts on, you could have FS with ripper cannons on as well. You could have FS with anything on,
Not to mention there was not nearly as much PvE. I mean, there was no gathering titanium, gathering uranium, gathering base parts, doing TLCs, doing FM. None of that existed. The only forced PvE we had was once a month, the raid.
Yeah, and to be fair, when the FM come out, you could still use your hitting fleets to do the FM. You know what I mean? And the same with uranium targets. You could do the same with that.
Or draconian bases. We used whatever we had.
Yeah.
So I can remember using flipping subs, trying to sub out flipping Seawolves. Funny as anything.
So the only way I can see FVF being fixed, and I know I have no idea if people think that's a good or a bad idea. I think it's a good idea. It's either they backtrack 2 years and get rid of the whole concept of classes, and it goes back to use whatever ship to whatever you want, or
it's going to happen, but
they take another step in the class system and say, hey, PvE fleets cannot engage each other on the map, or PvP fleets cannot engage PvE on the map.
Yeah, I think that also needs to be taken with subs as well. So like skirmish fleets can't attack other.
No, that's what I said. PvE fleets cannot hit PvE fleets on the map.
Yeah.
And PvP fleets cannot. So pretty much the chore fleets are quote unquote protected. They only do PvE.
That's great.
Either you go that way,
there's a but to that,
or you go 10 steps back and you get rid of the whole class system, and it becomes a free-for-all again. The way we did, we designed whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I'd almost prefer that method, because if PvP can't touch PvE and PvE can't touch PvP, the person that can go in and keep splatting someone's base, and they're the person who can't grow, there's no way back. The good thing about I'll take it from a low level perspective player. The only fight back he's got, well, I can't hit your base, but I'm sure take all your fleets out. I know plenty of players
that do nothing but snipe. Fleets back, but then they gotta hit your PvP fleets back with their PvP fleets. Now we're talking PvP versus PvP.
But if they're 30 levels lower, that's linking also then to this tech change thing against base level. That's bringing quite a lot of changes in and trying to do it all at the same time, which they'll have to do. Otherwise, the low-level man is just going to log off because he's going, well, I don't have a PvP fleet big enough. I can't get my own back by going and sniping him and that sort of stuff, because that's the only way I can get my own back is to stop him doing his his bounty.
How many people TSM are quitting the game because they constantly can't do the FM, or they can't do said chores that they've got to do to keep up because their PvE fleets are getting sniped?
Yeah.
I don't know, mate.
And it's not even a fight. I mean, you send one PvP ship with 2 million freaking armor to attack any PvE fleet. your FM fleet, your assault fleet, it's game over. Before it even starts, it's game over.
Yeah. So what do those people do? They just go, well, am I going to spend the 30 coins it's going to cost me to repair that fleet, and then go out
screw
so
that.
it can
You walk
happen
away.
again, or am I just going to go straight back to base, chuck it in repair, log off, and then just come back when I feel like it, if I do feel like it?
And
Yeah.
that's,
So anyways, I think something has to be done. Like TSM said, maybe they first fix the whole bracketing system. They said they're going to have a permanent fix in October. Maybe they fix that first. But at that point, they got to do something. And maybe through the bracketing, they also limit FVF on the map through a bracketing system. So you can have a level 485 Conqueror hitting a level 80 PvE fleet,
I don't. I mean, you tell me if you're in one of the bigger alliances that likes to fight and that sort of stuff. Is it just someone's taken out someone else's base, so they go, right, well, I'm just going to go and snipe your fleets, or is it just low levels generally sniping the higher levels because there's no way of that's the only retort?
No. It's high level sniping high levels.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you want to do
We
that?
moved to a sector. We started hitting some guys' bases. I'm not going to name names, but a big alliance.
Yeah.
One of them, SDS7, they played fair. They came back and hit our bases. We hit their bases. They hit our bases. Nobody touched each other's chore fleets. So kudos to them. PNLS and SDS7 were having at it fair. Another alliance I'm not going to name came over and started sinking chore fleets. Big alliance.
Wow.
Okay? It's just stupid. Because what you said, I mean, each chore fleet is, 15, 18 hours to repair. How long to take a Manticore fleet from that?
Well, they'll turn around and just say, well, look, if it's allowed in the game, I can do it,
Yeah, but the thing is, nobody wins. We have like an unwritten rule that we don't snipe chore fleets unless, of course, people end up
that's like saying you don't drive
chore fleets.
Your base guard, which is another one, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's a whole different discussion.
Yeah, it's kind of we won't snipe chore fleets because the only people that benefit from it is Kixeye at the end of the day.
Yeah, very much so.
And I've half the time because people just go, well, I'm just going to log off. I'll put it in repair and I'll log off because they're so pissed off with the fact that
there's
it takes
no way I'll ever coin a PvE fleet if it gets sniped. I do exactly that. I log off and I go do something else.
Like you say, the short-term win. That's that person. The problem is, I don't know. No, I won't say it. We'll go down the wrong avenue otherwise.
But it is.
Yeah. Anyways, let's.
All it does is it just fireballs because
it's so
sniped, and then that's it. You start sniping them back, and then it's for everybody, and it's just ends up in thousands of hours of repair for nothing.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, so again, either backtrack entirely from the class system and make our ships equal, or take the final step and just don't let PvE fleets be hit on map by other ships. That's it.
And that will improve player retention as well.
Oh, big time.
Right, bug fixes. The last thing they've got then. Okay, the UI for limited prizes. Okay, it was not being displayed in the FM pool properly. Okay, that's been adjusted apparently. We'll find out when the FM kicks up again. Land tiles are definitely, they were temporarily disappearing. That stuff. That's fixed, Earth, isn't it? You proved that today.
Yeah.
And the portals. Did you go and look at that base? The portals looking like they should.
Have a look. Yeah, it was fine.
Good. So portals now on. Once you put on the obviously the accelerator. The graphic accelerator portals were just basically looked like you were about to build it and it wasn't actually built. Now actually you can see the darn things, so that's quite decent. The walls that don't seem and land tiles when you move from one location to another location, you don't lose your land tiles anymore. Apparently, I'm sure the proof will be in the pudding. Somebody will move and go, yes, it is, or no, it's not. And then obviously, I love this additional minor bug fixes and performance improvements. Could be anything, couldn't it? That's a really generic statement. So. I think they're just going to chuck that in every week now. But yeah. Anyway, so there we go. That's it.
The wall thing though is actually quite a big thing because there's a lot of fleets that you need to know whether the walls are down or not.
Very much so, especially if you're blitzing.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, a lot of people like to prep, don't they, and shoot through the walls to get at the guards using cannon fleets and that sort of stuff. If you don't know if you've knocked the wall out or not, how do you know? You have to assume. I was in a 103 with a Hydras and I refreshed my thing because the game crashed, and then all of a sudden I couldn't see any of my Hydras doing any shooting. They were killing the targets, but there was no bullets coming out. Like, you know, no launcher stuff. I was like, this is really. I had to refresh again because it was like really random. But,
Yeah.
and it's the same sort of concept with the walls. You know, you can't see the wall. Is it down? Is it up? What is it? You know, sometimes this graphic acceleration thing, whilst it's great for rolling crews, sometimes, like, you know, base hit replays don't work, and you can't even get to the battle log sometimes.
During Bounty, I had to turn it off because I'd go into a base and everything would go grey, and then I got instantly hit with lag, and I just couldn't even move a fleet or anything, so I had to turn it off. I've turned it back on again now, and it seems all right. So hopefully it's fixed.
Yeah, I turned it back on the Sunday of Bounty and it was okay. But up till then, it was awful, terrible. Right, we're out of slides. We're virtually out of time. Ren, anything else you want to close down with?
Nope.
Yeah.
You know, interesting times ahead.
Yes.
Well, I think we discussed the whole raid changes last Saturday or Tuesday. I don't remember anymore. The fact that the only new prize on the August raid will be a Conqueror hull. That's what I understood. The only brand new thing will be PvP.
And there's no PvE in it at all.
No new PvE
for the entire rest of the month.
Yeah, although apparently some specials, obviously, you know, can go from one side to the other. Like I said, you know.
But it's nothing new. That's the whole point.
No, exactly that.
Nothing
so it's
new, and Earth hit it. There's no new PvE content for the month of August.
Which is
good because it gives
all
you
new is PvP. Everything new is PvP to complete the toolbox.
Yeah. Which is needed.
So I'm liking this. I gotta say, I'm liking the way this wrong thinker guy thinks. I'm liking how the new CM Chris is releasing the release notes on Monday and communicating, and now there's this like weekly posts where he says, next week communication, or calendar, this is what's happening next week. This is what it's, I haven't seen such a structured, clear, timely communication from Kixeye since ever. Honestly, I don't remember having that. Even the whip was kind of like, oh, here's a whip, but now timely, predictable, structured, concise, and clear. You know, I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it's good. I really like it. I think it's definitely been needed. Been a long time coming, but yeah, it's definitely a lot better.
You know, I think proof's in the pudding. We'll see after all the ships and turrets and everything is released if it's actually going to be entertaining and good and fun and well done. But just in terms of the framework they're setting for even quality of the release, like I don't think the last 2 weeks releases broke anything. Don't remember. And, you know, communicating and treating people as adults with respect and doing things, you know, on a regular schedule. Wow. I was so used to the poor mess the whole thing was that I'm impressed now by what would be a normal good service.
Yeah, all I want to know is who's going to be the permanent CM. That's what I'm interested in.
Hopefully him, because like, or somebody who's going to do the same, because it needs to be done, and it's a breath of fresh air. It really is. Somebody
with a mature approach. That's what we want. The average person that plays this game is in the mid-40s, if not slightly older. So, on average. So.
And I think with the TLCs from last week and the one this week and the one, you know, people probably got like, what, 30 days of Manticore tokens?
They're basically giving you the fleet slowly over a period of time, aren't they?
Yes.
Because you don't need it for this, you know, you don't need it, you know, too much. You know, what have we had now? 2 TLCs plus that big extra TLC event.
Well,
the
co-op TLC where people could get it for free, like with the gunboat.
Yeah. There's a lot of tokens out there. So even if you're in an alliance or you got somebody in a location there that that knows you and not even the same alliance, at least you can go in with one ship at the worst case scenario, whilst you're hitting lower levels, and someone could finish it off with you, you know, start it for you, and then you can go and finish it off and still get the 5 million bonus as it was anyway.
And it's not only the Manticore. I mean, the Infernal Dragons are being widely distributed. The Greta was in FM, you know. So it's also like, I like the way they're trying to make all the tech available.
Well, I like the fact that that co-op one was that TLC was actually using the dragons. I thought that was a really clever idea. I like that one.
It was good
For co-op. You know, to say someone that didn't have dragons, you know, they were like, oh god, what am I going to do? To be able to go in there with somebody else and then them use their every day as the FM is, it's the go-to fleet for first things first. FM, you know, FM raiding, then PvP. You know, I think that was a really clever idea. I like that one. Anyway, right, let's call it a night. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry I dropped out in the middle there for a little bit. That's because my internet for some reason decided to die, but we got it up and running again. So I'm sure the guys covered it fine, as they always do, both being professionals in their own rights. So all's good there. Enjoy yourselves for the rest of the week. And what's this weekend? Well, not a lot, to be honest. We've got an extra week of FMing, so that's good, isn't it? Enjoy helping out on that Chameleon TLC if you feel you must. But yeah, take note of the Manticore tokens. You can only stack so many. So as Ren says, if you don't need them, you don't need.
Just a separate note on the Chameleon TLC. Don't even bother asking me to help you.
Don't ask me for builds either.
Apparently you have to ask Ford. Ford helps everybody, apparently.
Don't do it.
Ford's the man. Hook him up on the TFT page. He'll come and help you wherever you are. Right, that's it. Thanks all. Take care. Good night.
Good night, everyone.